Hello guys, welcome back to Tech Projects. I am back with another video and this is the sixth part of our Notes application series using MVVM Kotlin navigation components, and this is the final part of our Notes app. So till the end of this video we are going to complete our Notes app. So don't further delay, now let's start the video. And one more thing before starting this video, I want to say in previous part I write some code to how to save note in database, but a previous part contains some problem. So first of all we have to solve all bugs which are present in our app till now, then we will check our app and then we will start writing a new code. So first of all we will solve some bug which is present in previous code and then we will move on to the new code. And so don't further delay, now let's start the video. And if you don't like the video till now, then please like the video, and if you don't subscribe to the channel, then please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. So now let's start the video. So for this, simply open your Android Studio, and after this open your project, and my project is present here. This is Notes app MVVM tutorial. So I open this project. Now we have to make some changes in our Notes app. So the first important change which you have to make is that you have to change your compile SDK version to 31, because these problems may become due to the latest Android version. So the latest Android version is 31 or maybe 32, so you should change to compile SDK version 31. So this is the first change. Now the second change which you have to make, you have to change your room database version 2.3.0. previously it contained an alpha version which is not stable, so that's why it is showing problem. So simply change your room version to 2.3.0. so that's the. Now come down and you have to uncomment this line 91, this one 91, because we are going to use this fragment ktx alpha 10, so you have to simply uncomment this. So these are the changes which you have to make inside your build.gradle module app. That's it. Now after this, simply close this. So I close this. Then come inside your colors.xml, and inside colors.xml you have to simply change this color purple 700 to this C6. It is your choice, but for white background this is the best color for title bar. That's why I simply change this C6. So you have to make change here. Now you don't need any kind of change in your nav graph, no change in themes, no change in your manifest, and no change in activity main. Now come inside your fragment node and no change also here. Open your bottom sheet rounded. Open your bottom sheet layout. So where is our bottom sheet layout? Wait a minute. So this is our bottom sheet layout. Now inside bottom sheet layout, this is the top bar. So previously it does not contain any margin top, so I simply add a margin top of 10 dp here. Previously it does not contain this thing. So inside this constraint layout, this is image view, and please add this margin top if you want to make it good design. Otherwise it will going to show on top, which is not so good looking. That's why I simply add a margin top here. Now after this, close this bottom sheet layout and also close this. Now open your fragment save or delete. Now inside fragment save or delete, first of all simply click on this edit on. So inside edited on, I add a background here, drawable, date rounded. So I give all drawables in my first video or first part of this Notes app, but I forget to add this background here. So I simply type this line, Android background, date rounded. So it will going to add this kind of effect here. So hope you understand. Now the second thing which you have to make change, simply come here 148. So inside 148 you can see this is our bottom bar which is showing here. So first of all simply I add a visibility here, visible, to show you whether it is working or not. So you can see our bottom bar is showing here. So make sure your bottom bar is appear below this tab button. So if it is visible, then it should appear below this. Otherwise if it is overlapping on this, then it is not good. So if it is overlapping, then I will tell you the solution. So first of all simply change the padding 0 dp. Previously it contains some padding 10 dp or something, but simply add this padding 0 dp. Now change the layout height 50 dp. So previously it contains 70 dp around something, but I change this to 50 dp. So you have to make this change. Now come on to the top, and inside this you have to type here layout above bottom bar. So you have to type this line, layout above bottom bar. So otherwise it will going to overlap. So you have to simply add this line. So if I remove this line, then I will show you. So you can see now it is overlapping. So you have to simply add this layout above bottom bar. So it is working perfectly fine. So close this as well. Now open your node fragment. So inside our node fragment, come here inside this line kotlin scope where we add a title bar color. So first of all, simply comment this line because we don't need this line, and previously it contains something both add flags. So you have to write this code. First of all, it should contain add flags, then it should contain clear flags, and then these codes should contain like this. So make sure you change this. So this code should look like this, otherwise it will not going to work if I want to change my title bar color whenever I am going to change the color pickle color. So make sure you change this and simply type as it is, which is looking like this. So hope you understand. And one more thing, inside build.gradle module app, this is the line 91 which I said to uncomment. So make sure you add this version alpha 10 instead of alpha. If it is containing something else, then you have to make simply change here alpha 10. That's it. Now close this, and now open your save or delete fragment. So inside save or delete fragment, when I try to click on our color picker, so it is not showing anything. So the problem is that why it is not showing anything. I write the code, all code inside our save node. So make sure this is separate function, this is separate, and this is separate. So make sure these all things are separate, but previously I typed these both things inside this function below this save node. So I simply separate this. So content binding.save node, you should type this, and inside try catch block, this code should contain this, and this code should contain this. So you can comment down below if you are facing any problem, but this is very easy. This is just a minor issue which I fix here. So, and inside fab color pickle, I simply set this, and I don't make any kind of change here. Now after this, one thing I want to say, last change which is left inside our save node function, which is start from here line number 134. You have to simply add this result equal node saved. So you have to take this variable on top. So I simply take the variable here, private let init var result, and the type of the variable is string. So now why we are going to use this result, because if we are sending the user from save or delete fragment to our node fragment, so we have to update live data. So we will check whether we are receiving something result or not after saving the node, and if we receive, then we have to add that node on our home node fragment using live data. So that's why simply take this result node save, simply add this, and then set the fragment result, pass the key, and then the bundle of result. That's it. You have to add these lines. So you can check code or count the brackets. So for simplifying the brackets, I simply, this is the on create queue, this is the function save node. So, and I expand this. So if I expand this, you can see this is the function where I am calling save node. This is our try catch block, this is our fab color picker. So these all are the functions. So now you are able to see the clearly all brackets which are showing here. And this is also I want to make a change here. Whenever we are opening the activity, this activity, we have to simply send the content binding dot last edit.text, because we are opening, if we opening the save or delete fragment, then on the top we have to show the current date time as well as if user are creating the new node. So I simply type here content binding dot last edit.text, and simply I take the string, and I already added this string in first part with the name of edited on, and I simply take the current date using this simple date format, get a date instance and format date. So that's it. These all are the changes which you should make before checking your app. So I hope you make all changes. Now it's time to check our app whether the app is working fine or not, and then I will show you how it is looking after working fine. And if it is working fine, then you can continue this video, and then we will start writing the new code of this project, where we are going to show all nodes on our home fragment, and then we will update the node swipe to delete functionality like this. So first of all, I press on run button and Gradle start building. So it will going to build our application. So our application is built successful. Now it will going to install inside our phone. So now application installed successfully. So on the top you can see the title bar color is look fine. So if I click on add node, now you can see it is showing the content visible here, because I forget to remove the inside this. Simply come style bar is showing here because I forget to set the visibility gone. So I have to make the by default visibility gone. For showing you I make it visible, but by default it should contain gone. So now let's check our app again. So then we will check our app. So now app again built successful, and it will going to install inside our phone. So now app installed successfully. So I click on add node, and you can see now it is working fine. So on the top you can see you are able to see the current date and current date. It is your choice whether you want to show time as well or not, and it also contain border. So let's add one more thing. I want to show the simultaneously data which is going to save inside our room database. So for this you have to come inside your app inspection, which is present here. So after coming app inspection you have to wait for 1 minute. It is depend on your laptop configuration whether it is fast or slow. So you can see my laptop is fast, so it is start appearing here in just 5 or 6 seconds, but it is depend on your configurations. So now it is showing node database closed, so maybe it contained previous project. So that's why first of all what I have to do, I have to clear this application, and then I will have to uninstall the previous version of the application, then I will install this again. So now I run this again, a fresh new application, to show you the entire database which will going to show here. So now application build successful and it will going to show the database as well. So first of all let's add a new node to our database. So I click on add node. I simply set the title here new node, and then I will set the, and if I click on this content you can see now the styles bar is visible successfully. So I simply type here content, then I simply check whether it is working or not, and you can see this markdown edit text is working fine every time. So it is your choice whether you want to add anything. It is your completely depend on you, whatever you want to add. So now simply click on save. So when you click on save you can see simultaneously our database is created here, and inside this our node, this is our new node, and I add this content. You can verify this. Now if I click on live updates, so if I add any new node here then it will automatically going to show here, and by default it contains a white color which is the color code of -1. Now let's change the using our color picker. So you can see color picker is working fine. If I click on this color you can see our title bar color is changed successfully. So this is due to our clear flag, so make sure you make that change also, which I showed previously. So I think this color is fine for me, but you can add any color. Let's go with yellow note. So I simply give the title here checking, and I simply give the content here working, not yellow, blue is fine. Now I click on save. So when I click on save you can see this second note is also start appearing inside our database. You can see the time 10:28 p.m, 10:29 p.m, and this is the time of the recording, and you can see the blue color code is start appearing here. So it means our application is working fine till now, which should work in previous part. So now there is no bug present in our application. So now we can start writing the new code for our application, like how to show the note on recycler view, how to update the note, how to add a functionality of swipe to delete, and how to add a search functionality inside our notes app. So almost every bug is clear. Now let's start writing the main code of our application. So let's come inside your note fragment where we have to implement our recycler view. So if your application is working fine then it's fine, but if it is not working fine then comment down below or try to watch the video again and again. So you are trying to so maybe you figure out what is the error and why it is happening. So you can also check using logcat or something else why your application is not working fine. But if it is working fine then start writing the code with me. So first of all, whenever user open this fragment we have to show the recycler view which will contain all nodes in our database. So for this I am going to create simply a function recycler view display. We will implement this function later, but for now we can give the function name here recycler view display, so we can show all nodes. So now let's create this function. Take your cursor here, click on this red bulb and click on create function recycler view display. That's it. Now after this let's implement also search functionality. So we don't fetch the nodes till now, but we can implement the search functionality in our search text listener like this. So first of all I am adding a comment here, implements search here. So for this we have a node binding dot search dot add text chain listener. So this is the present method inside Kotlin. So if I click on this search you can see this is our edit text. So whenever user typing something then we have to show the nodes here. So for this I simply add text chain listener. Now we have to take this. So simply type here object then colon then text watcher. This is the method for this. That's it. Now take two curly braces and now implement its methods. So it contains before text change, on text change, and after text change. So we have to call all functions whenever we are changing our text. So if, let us suppose, if no data is visible, then we have to type here, instead of this we can simply type here, if no data is present, then we can simply type here, if no binding dot no data is visible. First of all, we have to set it to false. We don't need to show this. Then on text changing, we have to call a function where we send our query to our database so we can fetch that nodes. So for this, simply delete this to do, and here we have to type the code. So if inside this s, first of all we have a character sequence s, so give this name to character sequence s instead of p0. So simply type here s. So if s to string, we have to convert this into string. Then after this is not empty. If our string is not empty, then we have to call this function. So now we have to take a variable here, text type, and inside this we simply store this string as to string. Then after this we have a query variable, we simply take this, and here we have to, if we want to pass the query inside our room database, then we have to take this inside a percentage, then dollar, then our query which is present inside our text, and then we have to close this with %2. That's it. Now we have to simply pass this query. So first of all we will check if query is not empty. If query is not empty, then we have to call our note activity view model dot search note, and then we have to pass our query here. Then we have to observe what it is returning, because it is the live data, and then we have to pass our lifecycle owner inside this. Then after this, if we get something, then inside this we have to simply pass that list to our recycler view so that we can show that list. Hope you understand. And after the else part, here simply add a else here, and here we can simply call observer data changes. So we have to create this function as well, where we will observe all our changes. So click on this and click on create function, and here we have to clear this observe data changes. And also we can take a else here as well. So here we can take as one more else observer data changes. That's it. So this function is also created successfully, and here we have to simply pass the list which we are receiving to our recycler view adapter. That's it. Now we have to also hide our top bar and also our fab button whenever user scrolling in our recycler view. So for that we have to also write the code, and we can comment this, we don't need this, otherwise it will going to show error on runtime. So remove the to do statement as well from inside the function. Now here we have to type here node binding dot, then we have to type here rv node. We have to set a on scroll chain listener inside this on scroll chain listener. Then it contains some functions. So for this I want to show this set on scroll change listener. So we have to implement this one, which contain 5 methods. So first method is should be dash, and second method which is returning, it is scroll x, and this one is scroll y. This one is old scroll x, but we don't need this, so we can replace it by dash, and this one is old scroll y. Now we have some conditions when we want to show this and when we don't want to show this. So for this press enter first here, then simply type here when, and inside this we can take some condition here if scroll y, because we are scrolling in vertical direction, so that's why we need to take scroll. If scroll y is greater than old scroll y, then we have to hide our chat fab text. So for this we have to simply type here node binding dot chat fab text is visible, and we have to pass this as false. That's it. Now we have one more condition, when scroll x equal scroll y. So it means user scroll but little bit scrolling. So that's why on that time what we can do, we have to show it. So for this we have to type here node binding dot chat fab text dot is visible, and simply pass it true. and one more last condition, and if everything is done then we have else part. Otherwise, if user swiping up again, then we have to show that thing again. So else, inside else part we have to show this again. So simply type here node binding dot chat fab text is visible and pass it to true. So we don't need to write any code for our to hide the top bar, because I already take a app bar layout here, and this is present inside our app bar layout, and I already type the code lift on scroll pass through. So when you scroll up, it automatically going to hide, so don't worry. So we don't need to write code, but we have to simply write the code for this chat fab text. So this is also done. So we have to hide only our chat fab text, not our inner fab. So hope you remember this. So this is also done. Now inside our recycler view, this is the function recycler view display. So inside this we have to send some conditions here. So first of all, when inside this we have to take the resources here, resources dot configuration dot orientation. So first of all we will check what is the orientation, whether the phone is in portrait mode or in landscape mode, because we are going to design the completely responsive design. So if it is in portrait mode, then you have to first of all we have to check. So configuration dot and simply type here orientation portrait. So if it is portrait, then we have to set the recycler view. We will call this function set up recycler view and simply pass here 2, because we are going to use staggered grid layout manager, and on that time I want to show 2 rows 2 columns inside my recycler view. That's why I simply call this. And if it is configuration dot orientation landscape, if it is landscape, then what we have to type, I simply call this function set up recycler view again, and inside this time I want to show 3 columns if the phone is horizontally placed or in landscape mode. So hope you understand why I am creating this. And now let's create this function. So click on this red ball and create this function. So this function is also created successfully. So instead of I simply type here span count, this is the better variable name. So here inside this we have to set our recycler view. Now this is also done. So the most important thing which is left in our application is our adapter, which will going to show the all data. But in this application we are not going to use any kind of adapter, recycler view adapter. We are going to use list adapter, not recycler view. So if you want to know more what is list adapter, what is the difference between normal recycler view adapter and list adapter, then you can google out, you can easily find out it. But the main advantage of list adapter, let us suppose user click on any node and then user updating that node, then we have to send the user again back on our node fragment where we have to show the updated node on that time. So for this, if we are using recycler view adapter, then we have to notify the dataset change again and again. This is not a good operation and this is not a best practice. So for this we are going to use list adapter, which will automatically update your UI if the content get changed inside our adapter. So hope you understand why we are going to use the recycler view list adapter. So for this, first of all we have to create a Java class, Kotlin class, sorry. So let's create a package here. Right click on this, then new, then click on package and give the package name adapters. Now inside this adapter we have to create a Kotlin class file. So right click here, then new, then you have to click on Kotlin class file and simply give the file name rv nodes recycler view nodes, rv means, and recycler view nodes adapter. So this is done. Now first of all simply come inside this bottom sheet layout, not in bottom sheet layout, note item layout. So simply change this layout to our data binding layout, because we are going to use data binding as well as in recycler view too. That's why. So open this rv nodes adapter and here we have to write the all code how to implement our list adapter, and you are going to learn something new in this video. So first of all, if we want to use list adapter, then we have to extend this, and in previous adapter we have to extend it by adapter, but in list adapter we have to extend it by list adapter like this, and inside this we have to pass the parameter which is same by recycler view. So first parameter which we have to pass what type of data we want to show on our recycler view. So we have to show the node type of data, this one, which is our node class. Then we have to create the view holder for this. So rv nodes adapter dot nodes view holder. Then after this take 2 braces here and simply type here DiffUtil callback. We are going to create this class, so don't worry, we have to create this class DiffUtil callback. So it is better to create this now. So right click here, then new, then give the kotlin class file name and simply give the file name DiffUtil callback. Now it is not showing error, don't worry, it is showing error, so don't worry. Now we have to create this notes view holder. So click on this, create class note view holder, and we have to create this inside this secretary, and we can give the class name as a inner class. It is better to add a notation here. Now inside this, what we have in note view holder, we have to take a view type here, item view, and the type of this is view. Then it should extend recycler view dot view holder, and inside this we have to pass our item view. Now import this view as well. Now inside this we have some contents here. So private val, we have a content binding. First of all, this is the type of content binding, so I simply type here note item layout binding. You can see this is present by default, and we have to bind our item view. So this is same with like fragments where we bind the data. So data binding util dot set content bind. So in recycle view we have to do something like that. Now we can access this by using content binding everything. So for this we have a title as well in our notes app, title. Then the title type is material text view, and believe on me, this is very easy if you learn it just one time. Then we have to content binding dot note item title. That's it. Then we have a content as well, content, and the type of the content is text view, content binding dot note content item. Then we have a date. Date is also material text view, content binding dot note date. Then we have our color code. So first of all, I simply take a parent here, parent, I give this variable name, then val parent, and simply type here the type of this material card view, this one, and simply type here content binding dot note item layout parent. This one. So we can set the card color by using color code. Then we have a Markdown edit text, and then we have to show the if text contain the task list, if text contain the strike through, then we have to show that data, that kind of data in our text view. So that's why we have to type here val. Then we have to take the variable of Markdown, and the type of this variable is Markdown. So it is not showing here, so take a equal here, builder. Then inside this, first of all, we have to pass the context, item view dot context. Then we have to use plugin, and inside this simply type is strike through plugin. First plugin is strike through plugin, this one. And then we have to create this. If the text contains strike through, then it automatically going to show that. Then we have a use plugin again. Then we have a task list plugin, and here we have to also create this, create, and simply pass the context, item view dot context. Then at last we have a use plugin, and inside this simply type here object, take object here, abstract Markdown plugin, and take two braces here, and then take two curly braces, and now implement its methods. So take a override method here, override fun, simply type here override, and then type here fun function, config visitor, this one, config visitor. So it automatically going to write this code, and then inside this we have to simply call this builder dot on, and then we have a soft listener, soft line break, this one. You have to call this class soft line break colon class dot java. Then simply type this visitor. This is the library method, so if you want to know more, then you can read out the library. Then underscore, then take dash, and simply type here visitor for new line. post new line. And at last what we have to do this, we have to build this dot build. That's it. So this thing is created successfully, and now we are ready to write the implement methods for our recycler view. So this is just a holder for our adapter. So if you understand, now we have to set the adapter. Click on this and click on implement members of this list adapter. So it contain only two, on create and on bind. And inside on create we have to write some code, and inside on bind we have to write some code. So first of all, let's write the code for our on create view holder. So what we have to do this here, we have to simply type here return, and what we have to return nodes view holder. Then inside this we have to pass some parameter. First parameter is our context layout inflator from parent dot context, same as our recycler view adapter. And then we have to inflate, and then what we have to inflate, r dot layout dot note item. First of all, we have to import this r, it is not present here. Import note item layout, this one. And then we have a parent, and then we have to pass false. That's it. Now we want to set data, so we have to use on bind view holder, and we have to write all code here. So it contains a position here. So first of all, we will get the position of item. So get item position. This is the inbuilt function dot let. And inside this, first of all, what we have our note type object. Note, it will return this. Then what we have to type here, holder dot apply. So we can call every function. We don't need to type again and again holder. So if I type this, then we have to simply type here parent dot transition name. So first of all, I will recommend you leave this for now, and simply type here. First of all, we will set the text title dot text, and if title dot text, then we have to set our node title. So simply type here node dot title. Then we have to also set the content markdown dot set markdown, and inside this we have to type here content node dot content, this one. Then we have a date dot text, and we have to set the date, so note dot date. Then at last we have to set the color of card, parent dot set card background color, and inside this we have to pass our color code node dot color. That's it. Now inside this, if someone click on item view and if someone click on content, then we have to send the user to this node fragment, to the save or update node fragment, where user can update the node and see the previous data. So for this I have to simply type here item view dot set on click listener, then simply type here take two curly braces here. That's it. So we will write the functionality later. First of all, we will check whether our recycler view is working fine or not, then we will write this functionality. That's it. So if someone click on as well as on content, then we also have to take the user from this to another thing. Now we have to implement this DiffUtil callback. So come inside this DiffUtil callback, and here we have to write some code. So this is our class DiffUtil callback. So it automatically get called whenever we try to update our nodes. So first of all, we have to check here. It contains two methods, whether the items are same and whether the contents are same. So I will write the code, then I will explain you. So first of all, you have to simply type here DiffUtil, this one, then dot, then you have to type here item callback, and after this you have to type the pass the type of the callback. So we want to check our note type of object, so this one. Now it is showing error, so don't worry. So first of all, you have to take a two curly braces here. Now it should say to implement members. So take your cursor here and click on implement member. So you have to implement both members. So now it is fine. So it contains two functions, r item same and r content same. So r item same mean the id of the note id is same, and if r content same, then you have to use r content same means the content gets changed or something else. So on that time it will going to update that note automatically, so we don't need to write any kind of code. That's why I am saying start using ListAdapter instead of recycler view adapter. Old item id, and inside this we will simply add our new item dot id. If the id got changed, add a 2 equal here, then delete this as well, and you have to type here again return old item dot id and equal new item dot id. That's it. So this callback is implemented successfully. first of all, before writing the more code, simply right click here, then click on new. Then you have to click on kotlin class file, and let's side by side we have to create a swipe to delete functionality as well. So we have to create a separate kotlin class for that. So I simply give the class name swipe to delete. Now inside this swipe to delete, we are going to use this class should be abstract class first of all. So I simply add an abstract keyword here. Then after this, what I have to do, I have to use here item touch helper. So item touch helper, this one. Then you have to use the simple callback. So it automatically going to call this. Then it should contain some methods. So take 2 braces here. Now press enter. Now here we have to mention some methods. So first method is, let us suppose user are swiping up or down. So item touch helper dot up, and another is item touch helper dot down if some, and this is the drag direction, and then we have a swipe direction. So item touch helper dot left if user is swiping left or right, item touch or item touch helper right. So it is your choice whether you want to implement both. It depend on you. Now after this we have to override a function here. So on move, what we want to achieve, so override fun on move, this function is present here by default, so we are going to use this, and inside this we have to simply return the true. So we will call this function whenever we want to use this. So now this function is also implemented successfully. So this work is also done. Now simply come inside our nodes fragment where we have to set up our recycler view. So inside this setup recycler view, we have to write the function here. So first of all, we have to simply type here node binding dot rv node. This is our recycler view name. Then we are going to use apply. So after this, we don't need to call this rv node again and again. We can directly type this. So first of all, we have to set the layout manager, and inside layout manager, we have to simply type here staggered grid layout manager. We are going to use this. Then we have to pass our span count. So if it is horizontal, then we have to show 3. If it is vertical, then we have to show 2. So hope you understand. Now the direction of the staggered grid layout manager dot vertical, we are going to show it in a vertical direction. Now we have to set the set has fixed size and simply pass it to true. Then after this, what we have to set the adapter. So rv adapter. So first of all, we have to declare the adapter on the top. So simply come here and simply type here private rv let init var rv adapter, and type of this is rv nodes adapter, this one. So now we can use this here. So rv adapter, and then after this, what we have to type here, then simply type here rv adapter dot equal, first of all, rv nodes adapter. We have to store this. Now we create the object successfully, and then we have to simply type here rv adapter dot set state restoration policy, and then take a equal here. Then simply type here recycler view dot, then you have to type here adapter dot state restoration policy dot prevent when empty. Then simply type here adapter equal rv adapter. So this is the by default variable which present inside this method. This adapter present inside this recycler view. And then what we have to type here, postpone. First simply type the code with me, then I will try show you. So this is our enter transition which we are going to show the transition. So simply type here 300L comma, and then after this you have to simply type here time unit dot milliseconds. We are going to use this time unit. Then simply type here view tree observer, then add on pre-draw listener, and simply type here start postpone enter transition, and simply pass it to true. That's it. Now after this, we have to simply call the function observe data changes and remove this extra space, and where is our observer data changes, and here we have to write code. First of all, I will explain what is this state restoration policy and what is postpone view tree observer. So this is state restoration policy, means that whenever our recycler view is going to change, then it automatically going to update. And this view tree observer dot add on pre-draw listener is that when our view is going to set. So this is just a simple thing. Now let's come inside our observer data changes. Inside this function we have to write some code. So delete this to do, and here you have to simply type here note activity view model dot get all nodes dot observe, and we are going to use live data view lifecycle owner, and then take two curly braces, and this will provide the list of the nodes. So it is your choice whether you want to type here list, or it is your choice, completely depend on you. So I simply type here list. Now we can use this list. So node binding dot no data is visible. So we will set our no data is visible if the list is empty. So if the list is empty, so you can see in Kotlin it is very easy to write the code, and simply we have to otherwise we have to submit the list to our rvadapter.submit list. We have to pass this list to our adapter. That's it. So this function is also created successfully. So now we are able to see the nodes on our home screen. So now let's check our app whether the app is working or not, and if it is working fine, then we will write the code of how to update the particular node. So first of all, let's check our app whether it is showing the data in our recycler view or not. So for this I have to connect my phone, and then I will press on run button. So I connect my phone successfully, and now I press on run button and get to start building. So it is showing error, class DiffUtil callback does not have a companion object and must be initialized here. So don't worry. So why it is showing here? Because we don't take two square braces here. Now let's run this again. So now the app built successful, and it will going to install the application inside our phone. So now application installed successfully, and you can see the content is visible on our node screen. So maybe I missed something in Markdown edit text, otherwise it is working fine. And now let's try to search a node. So if I am trying searching, so it is also not showing anything. So I have to check why it is not showing anything. So otherwise our database is working fine. We are able to fetch the nodes. Now we have to implement some basic functionality like search, and then we have to implement delete as well, and then we have to update the node as well. So let's start implementing by search. So first of all, let's start writing the search code. So open your node fragment, and why our database why searching is not working here? Because you can see inside our node activity view model, if we are searching, we are getting something, but I am not passing that thing to our recycler view adapter. So for this you have to simply type here rvadapter.submit list and simply pass it. That's it. So this is also done. Now we have also a search button. So you can also type node binding dot search dot set on editor action listener, and inside this we can take two view, and second is our action id, and third one is dash. So now first of all we will check if action id equal editor info dot, first of all we will check it is an action search or not. So if it is an action search, then we will call this. So we will remove the focus, v dot clear focus from our view, and then we have to simply type here require view dot hide keyboard. It will hide the keyboard whenever user press on search button. And at last what we have to simply return this one and simply pass it true. That's it. So now this functionality is also implemented successfully. So now let's implement our, first of all, swipe to delete functionality in our recycler view. So below this recycler view display, we can call the function here swipe to delete this function, and simply we have to pass our node binding dot our recycler view. Now we have to create this function. So click on this and create this function. So this function is created here successfully, and inside this we have to implement the code. So first of all we have to take a variable val swipe to delete callback, swipe to delete callback, this one. Then it should be object, then swipe to delete, we create this. Then after this, if this thing is happened, then we have to override a method first of all. So implement members, and this is on swiping. Then what we have to do, we have to perform anything whatever you want. So first of all we have to take the position of from our adapter. So val, we simply create this variable of val type position, and then we have to simply type here view holder dot absolute adapter position. We will get the position of current item. Then we take a variable of node, val node, and rv adapter dot current list, and then we will fetch the current list of position of particular, we will store that particular node inside our node. Then we have a action button tab. So I simply declare this variable action btn tab. Later I will tell you what is the working of this. Equal, simply pass it to false. Then after this we have a note activity view model. Simply we have to call this delete note, and inside this we have to simply pass this note. That's it. And if search bar is open, so we have to simply type here node binding dot search. Let us suppose user search something, then try to delete something, then that's why we simply call this, and simply we have to hide the keyboard, and we have to remove the focus, clear focus. This is also done. Now below this bracket, first of all we have to check if node binding dot search dot text to string is empty, then we have to simply type this observer data changes. We have to call this function. Now after this, after deleting the nodes, we have to create the function snack bar. So we have to show the snack bar equals snack bar dot make, and we have to take the required view. Then we have to set any message, whatever we want. So I simply give the message here node deleted. Then after this, take a comma here and simply type here snack bar dot length, and you can pass it as length. I simply pass the length long. This is done. So give the variable name here capital V, it is fine. Now after this bracket we have to add a callback. So if user click on undo, then we have to retrieve that note again. So object dot we have a base transient bottom bar dot base callback, and inside this we have to pass our snack bar. Then take this and 2 braces and take 2 curly braces. Now after this we have to override a function, override fun on dismissed. After override this method, then so inside this we don't need to do anything. Now after this, simply take one more overrided method on shown. So simply click on this, and inside this we have to write the transient bottom bar undo button, whatever we want to apply. So first of all, simply type here transient bottom bar and simply set it to, first of all we have to check no label, then set action, and simply type here undo, then simply set it action undo. Now take 2 curly braces. So inside this we will get the view. Then we have to simply type in note activity view model dot save note and simply pass our note again. Then we have to simply pass that note again, and then we will simply set the action button tap true, so then it means user tap that button. And then we have to simply type in node binding dot no data is visible and simply pass it to false. Let us suppose if it only contain one node, then user delete it, then we have to show that no data, and then if user undo, then we have to show it again and simply pass it to false. So you understand why I do this. Now after this, at last what we have to apply this, so apply, then inside this we have a simply animation mode. It is your choice whatever you want to add animation mode. So simply type here snackbar dot animation mode fade, this one, and simply type here set anchor view, where we want to set this above our node fab. So add node fab. So you understand why it is center anchor view. And at last what we have, we can set the color of our action snackbar. So snackbar dot set action text color, it is your choice whatever color you want. So I simply type here context compact dot get color, and then what we have to pass the context, require context, and at last I simply set the r dot color dot, then take a comma and press enter, then simply pass here r dot color dot, I simply use the yellow, this one. And at last, one thing which is the most important, snackbar dot show, we have to show our snackbar. And below these 2 brackets we have to simply type here val item touch helper, we are going to use this, then item touch helper, then inside this we have to simply call our callback. So I have to delete callback and simply type here item touch helper dot attach to recycler view. We have to attach our item touch callback to our recycler view. So it is not showing recycler view, so this is the name of the recycler view, so RV note inside this function, that's why that's done. So this is also implemented successfully. Now what we have to implement, we have to simply implement our, if someone click on particular node, then we have to send the user to our node save or delete node fragment. So where we are going to implement this, because we write the all code inside our RV note adapter. So let's come inside this RV note adapter to write that code, how we are able to how we are able to send the previous data. So for this, simply open this RV notes adapter, and you can see I am set the on click listener here. Then I have to simply type here whatever I want to perform. So I have to take the action val action. Then first of all we have to simply node fragment directions, and then we have to simply set the action node fragment to save or delete fragment. Then after this we have to simply set the node, because I already take arguments inside our nav graph, so hope you understand why it is showing here. Then we have a val extras. Then simply type here fragment navigation extras, and inside this we have to pass our parent to recycler. I simply give this, you have to type this as it is, recycler view underscore. Then we have to pass the id of this, so we have to pass the id by using dollar. So take two braces here, simply pass the node.id. We have to pass our particular id, because if we want to update a node then we have to use that same id again. So hope you understand. Then we have to simply hide our keyboard, so it.hide keyboard, and then we have to simply type in navigation dot nav find nav controller, and inside this simply pass it. Then after this we have a dot navigate, and simply pass our action and then our extras. That's it. Now what we have to do, we have to simply copy this code, Control C copy, and paste the code here. So this is done, and by default I mistake of add a comma here, so simply add this. So this is done, remove that comma from here. Now open our save or delete node fragment, where we have to update our previous node. So where this is our save or delete node fragment. So come down, commit to the bottom, and this is the functions save node, and here we have to update our node. So simply type here, we will call the function update node, and then we have to simply type in nav controller. We have to send the user on our home fragment bob backstack. So first of all we have to come inside our setup node function, where we have to write some code before writing the codes here. So let's write the code for this. So click on this and create this function, create function update node, and we have to write the code here. So inside this we have to simply type here if node not equal to null. If node not equal to null, then we have to simply type here node activity view model dot update node, we will call this, and then we have to pass our node type of object node. Then we have to pass the node colon id. Then we have a content binding, we have to get the text, content binding dot et title dot text to string. Then but we have content binding dot et node content dot get md, and then we have to pass the current date, and then we have to pass the color. That's it. So this is also finished. So now we have to set up the node. So let us suppose user click on previous node, then we have to show that data on save or delete fragment. So where we have to call the function setup node. So you can call this function here. So I simply give the message here opens with existing node item, this one, and simply going to call this function setup node if it contains something. So now let's create this function as well. So this is the last function of our video. So create function. So now let's implement this function setup node. So first of all we will get the data from our args. So simply type here val node, and then we will get the object args.node type of object. Then we have to simply declare a variable of title val title, and then simply type here content binding dot et title, we will store the reference of this. Then we have a val content, and simply content binding dot et node content. Then we have a reference of last edited. Then simply type here content binding dot last edited, content binding dot last edited. Now we have to, first of all we have to find, we will call this function setup node again and again. Every time we will check. So if node equal null, if node equal null, then we don't need to do anything. So simply type here last edited dot text. So we don't need to perform anything here, because we are, so first of all if last node equal null, then what we have to do, we have to simply control X cut this code from here, because we want to show the date on that time here. So now paste that line here. That's it. And now if node not equal to null, if node not equal to null, then what we have to do, so on that time we have to simply set the title dot set text. So node dot title, then we have to content dot render, we have to render md, then node and inside this we have to pass the note.content. Then we have to last edited dot text, we have to set the text. So simply type here get string r.string dot edited on and simply pass a note.date. Then we have to set the content binding dot apply and we have to launch the job, so it will going to load our node easily. So job dot launch and simply make a delay of 10 millisecond. So simply type a delay and pass a 10. Then after this simply type in node content fragment parent, we have to set the color, background color, and simply pass a color. Then we also have to set the toolbar color, so toolbar fragment node content. Then simply type here set background color and simply pass a color. And at last we have to set the bottom bar, so bottom bar dot set background color and simply pass a color. And at last we have to set the status bar color as well, so simply type here activity, then take, to prevent nullable we have to take question mark window dot, simply type here status bar color and equal node dot color, we will get the color. That's it. So finally our notes app is now ready. Now it's time to check our final check of our app. So if it is working fine, then we will end this video, and if it is not working fine, then we will solve the error, what is the error present, and then we will end this video. So if you don't like the video till now, then please like the video. So now I press on run button again and it will start building. So note is showing here, so delete a note, so I delete a note, so it is showing undo. So if I press undo, so you can see this operation is working fine. If I search anything, so you can see searching is also working fine, and if I type in new, then it is also working fine. Now but there is some problem is present inside our, you can see this is refreshing successfully, but it is not refreshing, it is appearing on the top. So I have to check why it is appearing here. Now let's update a node. So if I click on this, it is crashing, so this is also a problem. So we have there are two problems inside our nodes app. So first of all we will solve that problems. So unique transition name required, so this is the error, so we have to solve this error, and also we have to solve why our recycler view is not showing properly in searching or in deleting a node. So after hours of debugging, I finally found out what are the problems in our application which crashing our application and our recycler view is not working properly. So let's clear our problems one by one. So first of all, simply come inside your bottom sheet, not inside bottom sheet, come inside your note item layout. So this is our note item layout. So previously it's set to match parent, so simply make it wrap content. So previously it said something like this, but you have to make it wrap content instead of match parent. So that's done. Now after this, what you have to do, close this. So first of all, it's whenever I am trying to update a node, it is showing, so you have to give a unique transition name. So first of all, open your save or delete fragment, and here you have to write this code because we have to set the unique transition name. So above this button, content binding dot back button, you have to simply type these lines, view compare dot set transition name, and simply type here content binding node content fragment parent comma, then in double quotes recycler view underscore arcs dot note id. So if we are passing a note id from our recycler view, then we have to pass a unique transition because we have to set the text. So hope you done this. Now open your rv notes adapter, and you can see here we passing the recycler view note id to add the transition, but you have to also type this parent dot transition name equal recycler view node dot id, this one. So please type this line as well inside your holder.apply method above the text view, above the title.text, or you can type anywhere, but please type this. And the last bug which I found, whenever I try to update a note, our background color of the note is not appearing, which I said. So for this, simply open your save or delete fragment, and the problem is that you can see whenever I am setting the data on our previous note, I forget to set the color. So you have to simply add this line color equal node dot color. So below this line last dot edit text, inside this function, whenever we calling the setup node function, so inside this you have to get the previous color dot node color, and then we have to set that color on our this. So that's done. So finally our notes app is ready. So now it's time to check our final app. So I run my application, and you can see now Gradle will be successful, and it will go into install the application. So application installed successfully, and while debugging I add these notes. So now you can see it is working fine. So first of all, let's add a new note, then I will tell you everything. So on the top you can see the current date, and now new test, and for now I am giving the lorem ipsum text, it is fine, and give the color. So for now I think this color is fine. So you can see it is added successfully and animation is working fine. Now let's add one more note. So thanks for watching. So, and if you don't like the video, then please like the video. And now if I select this color is fine. So this is also added successfully. Now let's add a final note. So final, and first add some 1 2 3 4. Now add this. Great, you can add whatever you want. Now add some italic text, and then add some bold text, then add some strike through text. So now we can also add checkboxes, whatever you want to do. So now let's give a color. So I think this color is perfect, so I save this. So you can see it is saving successfully. Now if I click on any note, you can see the data is setting successfully here with a beautiful animation. You can see it is give an amazing transition which will create the effect that is this is opening. So you can see the animation is working perfectly. Now let's change the color. So I think this color is fine. I save this. So you can see it is fine. If I update the title, updated, and also I type here update, something like that, and I update the color as well. So this color is fine, then save. So this is updated successfully. Now let's update one more note. So checking update, this is also going to work fine. So this is work fine. Now let's add one more note to showing you on scrolling the chat fab is hiding or not. So for this final note, I give this name, and I paste this lorem ipsum again and again, and this time I think yellow note is fine. So if I'm swiping, you can see the inner chat fab is working fine. So it is your choice. You can see it is working fine. So if you don't like the video till now, then please like the video. Now the final testing is left of searching and the delete operation. So if I delete the note, you can see it is working fine. And at last we have to search our note. So if I search, so I think we can check the search for checking update. So if I type here checking, you can see the animation is working fine. So finally guys, our notes app is finally ready, and it's time to end up this series. So I hope guys you learned something new in this series, and this is the only video on YouTube which contain this kind of notes app with amazing advanced feature with latest technology. So after watching this video, if you face any difficulty, if you have any question, just comment down below. I will try to give the answer of every comment. Please like the video, please subscribe the channel, and please share the channel, because this video takes so much time to build. First of all, I have to build my project by my own, and then I have to make a video. So please guys, like the video, please subscribe the channel, and please share the video. So finally guys, our notes app is end now, and soon I will come back with a new project of movie rating app using room database and REST API in Kotlin. So that app is going to very amazing. So please guys, like the video. Thank you. See you soon in next amazing project. Thank you.